All right. So we'll look at Yip's, some position from Yip's game. Okay. Right. Okay. This is round 3. Yip versus, or is it round 2? Sorry, it's round 2. This is round 2, Yip versus Tatev. And before the round, my co-host said, do you think Carissa's going to win? And I said, yep. 100 centitudes. Hooray. Okay, so in this position, the engine says it's unclear. But if you look at the clock times, okay, and you cannot do this. And if you do something you can't do, for example, you can't blunder your queen for nothing, right? So if you do that 4 times a tournament, it's not going to be a good tournament for you, especially when it's 3 rounds. Thanks, Mepex. 1999. You should have given 1989, but you probably don't know the song as well. 911 is a joke. I dialed 911 a long time ago. They only come and they come when they wanna. 911 is a joke. Yeah. Okay, now. This is a fear of the black pieces. Okay, here Tatev made a really big blunder, but it looks like a normal move. Okay, and I showed this position to John Travolta, and he said, yeah, looks like. Okay, so first of all, we have to go back half a move. Rook A D1, lining it up on the bubble up. And Tatev missed the idea. And then she loses tactically because Carissa is really good tactically. God damn. Okay, that's why before the tournament, I thought Carissa would win, and I thought like nobody else could win. I'm like, no, I don't even have a dark horse, just Carissa wins. She's just too good at tactics. She's too good. And she's young. She's got everything, right? And she's super confident. She's sacking pawns. She literally doesn't care. And Tatev, her position's fine, but her time situation's bad. Her opponent's higher rated. And it's very dangerous for black because black king isn't very safe. Now, my co-host, David Pruss, was furious with Tatev's move here. And here's what Pruss said. Okay, and the reason I stopped doing commentary with him is he kept bringing me down. He didn't like these moves, and I'm like, don't bring me down, Pruss. But, okay. Anyway, go hype train. Okay. So what white wants to do, according to Pruss, is attack these weaknesses. So he was advocating for king f7. Okay, and the engine says king f7 is the second best move, defending these pawns. Why do you want your king opposite this rook anyway? And Tatev undefended her e-pawn. Now the bishop looks good on c6 because we're doing this. However, Tatev, with not much time on her clock, didn't understand the point of this move. It looked like it just improved the position a little, which it does, but it also has a tactical point because Carissa's really good at tactics. Now, there's something you'll never understand. People who are really good at something, it doesn't matter what it is, this is chess, but are way better than you think they are. Way better. And the reason you don't think they're as good as they actually are is because when they're competing with people at the same level. So if Carissa was playing like 1400s, she would just take all of their pieces every move. If you were playing one-on-one with LeBron, you would never score, always have the ball stolen, and he would dunk on you every play and shoot threes and you would lose 1,000-0. But when NBA players play each other, they're about the same. They don't play against the gawking rabble. So you don't get to see how good people are when they're playing against people of their own level. That's why Morphy was crushing it. Morphy was way better than everybody. So he was I mean, he made them look really bad because they were really bad. And so that begs the question, why is Morphy so good? And the gawking rabble, and by gawking rabble I mean super GMs, they discount how good Morphy was because they correctly say his opponent sucked. If Morphy was here now, I'll kick his ass. And what they don't understand is, why is Morphy good? I know why people are good now. They play chess 24 hours a day. They study with 7 coaches. They have 7 engines analyzing their games. They play GMs I know why Magnus is good. I know why Anand is good. What did Morphy do? He played people who were terrible. So how did he get good? If everybody you play is 1,000, let's say 1,000 teaches you the rules. A 1,000 player says, hey, here's the rules. And you're like, okay, everybody in the world is 1,000. How do you get to 2,000? Why are you so much better than them? But somehow, Morphy was really good. Nobody else was. So that's weird. Okay? So, occasionally, but not often, you'll see a tournament like this, and it's a mismatch, and you're like, why is that guy so bad? Like when Wesley beat Schwiertz, and when Fabi beat Burke, because Wesley's better than Schwiertz, and Fabi's better than Burke. And in those particular games, now, Carissa's better than Tatev, so she's seeing more tactics than Tatev. If Carissa was playing Nakamura, she wouldn't see more tactics. She might still win, but she wouldn't do this, because Naka would see this. Right? I mean, he's the favorite, but Carissa's really good at tactics. If she's playing other grandmasters and super grandmasters, they're also good. So she can't just run over them. In this tournament, with the right conditions, she could just run over people. Luckily, she's not like me, so if she runs over them, it doesn't hurt that much. If I ran over you, I'm pretty big. So, thanks for the 1,000 centidues from Eric Morant. And I want to thank somebody else. 99! Yeah, try to give 5 subs if you 9 subs if you can. Not 5. Your name's 99. Come on, live up to your name. All right, but thanks for the 5 subs. Okay. This move just loses. The game's over. The reason is, if this bishop wasn't here, knight e4 wins immediately. You agree. So she played bishop h7 attacking the rook, threatening knight e4 winning immediately. So the game's over. Truth hurts. I hate when that happens. So the only variation that has any interest to me, otherwise the game is not interesting anymore, is d4, threatening rook g2 check. There's a very small chance that Tatev saw bishop h7 and thought d4 saved her. Take the d pawn, rook g2 check. Okay, so the only variation that matters is bishop takes. Now, the engine says knight takes. After knight takes bishop d4, I know I'm winning. That's what kind of variation is that? So this is the only move I care about. This is it. And the problem is, after here, black is up material. Black has 2 bishops for a rook. Unfortunately, this move incredibly wins because I'm attacking the queen twice. And if you play queen e7 to defend these pawns, I can play knight d6 check. If you move your queen so your bishop defends this, you can't stay on this pawn. And you're like, so what? Let's find out why. Let's go here. Okay. Now I take this with check, and then I take this with check, and you're like, damn, why isn't my queen defending that pawn? And then I take this with check, and so forth. And then I go check, and the engine says like +7 for white or something. 200 centidues. And I'm sure that Carissa saw that when she played bishop h7. The only move to analyze is d4. Okay, and maybe Tatev thought she could play d4, and then she changed her mind. So now she went down without a fight. She played rook here. And when you play rook g7, that indicates to me, I could be wrong, that because of Tatev's time situation, she didn't see knight e4. If I saw knight e4, I'm not playing rook g7. Not doing it. Not doing it. Okay. Now here, she missed the cleanest way to win because Carissa decided to win a queen. So I don't blame her. Knight takes f6 is like plus 100, but she won a queen instead. Also good. If queen d7, knight takes. So black has to give her queen away. And it's 2 pieces for a queen, and Tatev's still in time trouble. And at the very end, Carissa showed how great she is at tactics. Okay, not the rook e4 move later. Okay, this is great what Carissa did. Now here black has counterplay. Nice rook, nice bishop, knight's pretty good. And Carissa said no. Took the bishop, always sacked the exchange, took the pawn, black's position's in shambles. 4 isolated pawns, what else? Knight g3, Tatev wants to get in there. And then this is amazing. Check, and then queen c5 check. That's queen c5 check, god damn. The only player in the women's who would play queen c5 check is Carissa. And in the U.S. Championship, I would bet Ray Robson would do it, but I wouldn't bet a lot of people would do it. Maybe Robson and Fabi. That's just an amazing move. And she saw it when she played rook f6. I guaranteed it. She already saw it. After takes, you check, black has 1 legal move. And then here, you're threatening all 3 pieces. And then that's it. And then Tatev resigned. Right, that's like power chess, just overpowering your opponent with tactics. And then finally this happens. So this position we started at, according to the engine, was equal. And this is why it's hard to get better at chess with you and your engine. Right? You're like, my engine. I analyze the game with the engine, tells me what I did right, tells me what I did wrong, and then I get better at chess. Okay, maybe. But the engine says this is equal. So if you're doing opening preparation or just analyzing a position and you're like, oh, this is equal, I should have done this. You did something else and you lost. And instead you should have played this way with black because it's equal. And you think, yeah, okay, I learned something. Well, it's equal, except you want to have white because it's really hard to play black. And the engine says, this isn't hard, I'm an engine. This is hard for you because you're a human. And Tatev plays this reasonable looking move and the game's over. And then she gets run over. Truth hurts. And you could argue Carissa's better than Tatev and you'd be right. Or you could argue Tatev has 13 minutes and Carissa has 56 minutes and you'd also be right. Or you could argue Carissa's better at tactics than Tatev, even if she's not better at anything else. And you'd be right about the tactics part. Carissa's way better at tactics, in my opinion, than the other players in the tournament. And that's important. So Carissa's running over people. She could win 5-6 games in a row. And obviously Crush used to do that, but Crush isn't in her 20s anymore. So now it's harder to win 5-6 games in a row when you're, getting older. Hard, tough, harsh. Charlotte Chess Center is all over what I'm saying because, I'm right. And if white says, oh no, here comes d4 and plays like passively to knight f3, bishop f1, maybe the game would have gone another way. But Carissa's on point. Carissa's like, oh, bishop c6, and you will know my name is the Lord. Another thing Carissa has over Crush, and when I say she has it over Crush, I'm comparing to other players. A lot of players in this tournament, they've played Crush for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 years, and Crush beats them because Crush is better than them. Carissa's beaten Crush before, and Carissa is probably higher rated than Crush. after this tournament, and her rating is going up, and she's improving, and Crush is trying to maintain. I've already given up maintaining. So Carissa's like, oh no, Irina Crush, I'm afraid. And between 1995 and 2015, well, okay, we'll say 2000. Between 2000 and 2015, people were like, damn, Crush is kicking our ass. Because she was. And that's not what Carissa remembers. Carissa wasn't born when Crush was kicking their ass. So Carissa's like, oh. So a lot of you weren't born when Kasparov was good. So you see Kasparov now, and you're like, yeah, Kasparov's no good. You look at Karpov now, and he's 70. And Karpov beat Karyakin in blitz chess. What? That's because Karpov and Kasparov are good. They're just old. But Carissa doesn't remember Crush beating her 20 games in a row. That's what the other players remember. So, obviously, if I'm Crush, I'm like, I hate playing these high-rated players who were like teenagers. Terrible. I want to play somebody my age who I've beaten for the last 15 years. And then that's why I think Carissa is just a huge favorite. Huge. I mean, she's so good at tactics. I mean, like, engine moves everywhere. Amazing. And here, she just wanted to win a queen. Man, I want to win a queen too.